must remind you that a dog's a dog, a cat's a cat. With cats, some say, one rule is true: don't speak till you are spoken to. Myself, I do not hold with that. I say you should address a cat. But always keep in mind that he resents familiarity. I bow and, taking off my hat, address him in this form: "Oh, cat." But if he is the cat next door, whom I have often met before, he comes to see me in my flat. I greet him with an "Oops, a cat. I think I've heard them call him James, but we've not got so far as names." Before a cat will condescend to treat you as a trusted friend, some little token of esteem is needed, like a dish of cream. And you might now and then supply some caviar or Strasbourg pie, some potted grouse, or salmon paste. He's sure to have his personal taste. I know a cat who makes a habit of eating nothing else but rabbit. And when he's finished, licks his paws so as not to waste the onion sauce. A cat's entitled to expect these evidences of respect. And so in time you reach your aim and finally call him by a name. And so this is this, and that is that, and that's how you address a cat. Hello, I hope you just enjoyed the presentation you watched of T.S. Eliot's The Addressing of a Cat. First, I would like to address my cat, Mr. Kaiser. He was originally named Kyanite, but he did not respond to the name, so it evolved into Kaiser, and that's how we address him now. Hello, Kaiser. Oh, that's a good boy. That's a good kitty. Thank you for taking the time to meet my cat, Kaiser. Just a little bit about me before I go into a discussion of T.S. Eliot. My background is in film history. My late twin sister Sarah and I used to write for the University Press of Kentucky, but just for a little bit I'm going to focus on my other loves of literature and art. So on to a discussion of T.S. Eliot. The St. Louis turned London native is best known for his modern style of poetry, such as 1915's The Love Song of Albert J. Prufrock and 1922's The Wasteland. Prufrock was sort of a study of an unsteady self, while The Wasteland was a kind of eulogy for Western civilization. Eliot's third masterpiece is considered the Four Quartets, and it was published in its final form in 1943. The quartets were Eliot's reaction to the Great Depression and the concurrent rise of Nazism. His poems were, as he articulated in The Wasteland, heaps of broken images. He was a philosopher as well as a literary critic, and in a 1927 essay he wrote on Shakespeare and Stoicism, he said that Shakespeare's was a struggle to transmute his personal and private agonies into something rich and strange, universal and impersonal. Eliot seems to have followed the same path, but as he once said, humans can't stand too much reality. So all of his poems weren't so despairing. He had quite a good sense of humor, as shown in his most celebrated of lighthearted works, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, and that is the book in which The Addressing of Cats is included. Eliot had a lot of cats himself, with funny names such as George Pushdragon, Petty Paws, and Whiskus. Now, the Book of Practical Cats came out in the thick of the Depression, and it was a welcome break from reality. Note that the year it came out, 1939, was also the same year that the film of The Wizard of Oz premiered, and that film featured a cat in the form of the Cowardly Lion. Like Oz, Eliot's Book of Cat poems celebrate the love of familiar, everyday characters and things, yet plop them into fantastic settings and situations. Joe Tolentino of The New Yorker wrote of Eliot's cats, "They are deeply weird, antic, hyperactive, dense with faux pompous elevated diction, sometimes crisp and regular, sometimes nursery rhyme nonsense." No wonder Eliot's cats made such perfect inspirations for Andrew Lloyd Webber's hugely successful Broadway show, Cats, which premiered in 1981. Now, reading Eliot's poems made me think just how much cats know who they are, and they instinctually know how they want to be treated, and they won't settle for less. You have to earn a cat's love, and when you win it, it's like holding the Holy Grail. They teach us a lot about our own shaky sense of self, and they make us ask if we can strive to be like them and respect ourselves, stand firm in who we are. Cats are a lot to live up to, but for me anyway, they are the ultimate role models. They are masters of Zen, they are masters of self-care, and they are masters of self-respect. Now on to our next artist, Louis Wain. He's recently enjoyed a renaissance of sorts thanks to the 2021 biopic starring Benedict Cumberbatch. The movie was titled The Electrical Life of Louis Wain. Wain, like Eliot, found a reprieve from reality through cats. His wife died very young due to cancer, but before her death, she urged him to publish drawings he'd been making of their stray kitten, Peter. To him, appropriately, goes the basis of my profession, the advances of my early efforts, and the establishment of my works, Wain wrote of Peter. His work flourished between 1886 and 1920, roughly, and it consisted almost of nothing but cats. Like Eliot, he anthropomorphized cats in his work, but near the end of his life, the cats in his work became almost unrecognizable as being cats. They were so florid and highly stylized. It's no wonder that they enjoyed popularity in the 60s, as evidence that you don't need drugs to get trippy visions. Some say Wain had schizophrenia, which ran in his family. Some say he had visual agnosia. Many modern psychologists say he had Asperger's syndrome. Now I have Asperger's syndrome, and I wish I had even an ounce of his imagination, but not many do. Wain ended up in a bedlam of a psychiatric ward in his older age, but luminaries such as H.G. Wells rallied to get him someplace better. So Wain died in a tranquil rest home aptly named Knapsbury. And 30 cats roamed the premises, so it was perfect for him. Now finally a word about our composer, Sergei Prokofiev. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. As a boy in Russia, he was a prodigy when it came to chess and music. He rebelled against overly academic styles, and like T.S. Eliot, he was a modernist. He looked to Debussy as an inspiration, as well as Stravinsky and Strauss. He's recognized today as a genius due to pieces like his ballet for Romeo and Juliet, but he had a rocky start. His second publicly performed piano piece in 1932 sparked audience members to leave the hall, shaking their fists, going, "The cat's on the roof! Make better music!" By the 1930s, he had better luck when he turned his interest to an in-demand market, children's theater. And it was then that he wrote the piece for which he's best known, Peter and the Wolf. The story is of a boy who climbs over a wall to catch a wolf against his grandfather's wishes. And he meets all types of animals during his adventures, including a cat. Prokofiev's music was playful, but never condescending to the children for whom it was written. Harlow Robinson wrote in his 1987 biography of Prokofiev, "If the story has a moral, it seems to be this: don't be afraid to challenge established beliefs or to take risks. It is Peter's independence, shrewdness, and courage that save the day. Peter and the Wolf is a subtly subversive track." Now, when you consider that Prokofiev composed Peter and the Wolf in Stalinist Russia, his work, which promoted independent thought and going against the grain, stands out as quite daring. It's kind of like a cat when you think about it. A cat does what he pleases, and to thine own self he is true. I'll close with another quote from T.S. Eliot's Practical Cats. "The greatest thing about cats," he said, "is that they possess two qualities to an extreme degree: dignity and comicality. These attributes seem in juxtaposition to one another, but as shown by the three artists spotlighted here, they are not at all. They coexist quite beautifully." Now thank you for watching, and leave any comments below, even if it's just a photo of your cat. I'll see you next week.
Hi, sir. Hi. Oh.